We've got another Dragon-Fall chat. Tonight with us is Adam Loper. I'm going to go alphabetically, so it's a big alphabet swing. We've got Adam Loper from Tabletop Minions, Uncle Adam. I'm still telling people I'm your nephew, man, and you're just gonna have to keep refuting that. As always, Josh, my compatriot here, he's changed up the guitars. I think I see an SG back there now, so that's fantastic. I think you might be muted, Josh. There you go. And then Zambies, another Twitch painter. She's someone I've been following recently, and so there's a number of things I want to talk about to you guys tonight. But why don't you, Adam, start it? Tell us who you are.
Well, my name's Adam, and I have been doing YouTube for about 7.5 years, mainly focusing on teaching people how to get into the hobby of tabletop wargaming, how to get into the gaming portion to some degree, how to get into the painting and hobby portion, building and all that kind of stuff. It can be a daunting hobby, and I mean, to get started, it can be daunting because it's a lot different than, say, video games or board games and things like that. There's a lot more, pre-production that needs to happen before you get into it. And so that's the kind of thing that I've been sort of working with in the YouTube channel. And then I've started streaming, oh gosh, April or May is when I started streaming. And now I do 2 days a week on Friday mornings and Monday evenings. And I've been really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we met at Adepticon where you mistakenly interviewed me for Beast of War years ago. So that was how that love affair started.
2011, 2012, maybe.
Long time ago. Can't believe we're still here. Zambies, you want to give me a little autobiographical shot there?
Sure. I'm Zambies. I like to call myself a variety artist because though I do a lot of miniature painting now, which I've been doing for just shy of a year, I do focus a lot on illustration, and I love drawing more traditional now, but also I do a lot of digital art as well. Mm-hmm. I've been streaming on Twitch for a little over a year, and that's pretty much what I focus on is miniature painting and streaming, hanging out.
Yeah, recently you said you're going to be going to, you're not taking digital commissions, you're kind of focusing on the physical aspects now, right? The physical?
Yeah. I've been doing Twitch emotes and stuff lately because I'm comfortable. I have a background in graphic design. And I know that's where my skill is. So I didn't want to go into commissions right away because I'm trying to just improve and grow my talents as a painter. And now I'm getting more comfortable where I feel like I can get there. Something I want to do. I don't want to pressure myself into taking commissions and not enjoy it as much.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's an extra layer to that. And Adam, you do your own Twitch overlay. You did that yourself, correct?
Yeah, basically everything that I've got, except for actually Zambies. I've worked with her. She did 4 of my emotes recently, which are very cool, and I was glad for that. But otherwise, the rest of the overall overlay and all the other graphics that I do on my Twitch, just because I've got a background in graphics and things like that. I mean, that's my day job is basically I've been a web designer for quarter of a century, as it turns out. And so I enjoy that. And there's things that sometimes flummox me a little bit. Like at the top of my page, there's a little thing that shows me the most recent follower, the most recent subscriber and stuff, and that's a piece of code, and then I put in the graphics, but I can't get it to stop and sit for maybe, I don't know, 30 seconds and then show the next thing. It's just constant.
Star Wars wipe, right?
Yeah, it just keeps doing it, which is what I wanted to do it. I just wanted to stop in between. And I went into the code, and I had a friend of mine who's a developer also go into the code, and we just couldn't figure it out. So, every once in a while you bump into those things, but the visuals and stuff like that, I got down pretty well, I think, for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, and so the one thing I like about both of your Twitch streams, and we're going to have a link to that below, but if you guys want to shout them out, it's very zen and more conversative than like a canned YouTube thing. Whereas I'll see both of you. Zambies is more jokes, and Adam is more like stop and let me teach you about this. Not that you don't have jokes. You've always got jokes about
Sure.
Nurgle butt diapers or whatever. And
butt napkins.
Butt napkins, thank you. See, I already screwed it up. So is that what it initially drove you to Twitch? Like as far as like it's more like a live, open web venue?
I think somewhat, yeah. I wanted to. I mean, first of all, it was partially a bit of COVID, so I wasn't really going anywhere, and I do like to learn stuff, and I like to learn new technologies and things. Although, like I said, this weekend it's been a little troublesome, on and off. But otherwise, yeah, it was one of those things where I kind of wanted to learn to do it. I also wanted to kind of diversify a bit, the reach of the overall channel or whatever, So I'm on Instagram, and I'm getting more into Twitter. I hit 5,000 followers, and I'm like, I should probably actually do more than just post my video every week on Twitter. I should try to, yeah. And so there's a little bit of that, and I've been kind of edging more into that. But the Twitch thing also you're right, it has a much more conversative sort of bent to it, which is really nice because people can ask a question and I can reply in real time and things like that. With the YouTube, I can try to reply to comments, which I do, but if someone asks a question like, how do you do this thing? It's very difficult to get that out in a comment later on. But if I'm doing something, it's like, how are you doing that? I can show you, or they can even ask a different question. I can try to show you on a different model. And so that kind of real-time thing, I think, is really nice.
Yeah, and so Zambies, what initially, so I only got into like Twitch as like a viewer pretty much like 6 months ago. And a couple months ago I found your stuff, and I think through Danny. And so, but yeah, so when, like, it's your stuff's a blast. Like, it's just kind of like hanging out and kind of making like there's a lot of weird jokes and interruptions by children and fun stuff like that. But like, what originally like brought you into the Twitch fold?
I actually, for about a month and a half, I originally started as a game streamer. I had a friend who was streaming on Twitch, and I was a freelance graphic designer because I have 2 small children, so I'm also a full-time mom. And I didn't want to go back to an agency job, and I was trying to find something else to do to pull me in, like, creatively. So I had a friend who told me, like, hey, there's art streaming on Twitch too, but I didn't have like the setup for it. And Classic WoW was getting released, so I started streaming Classic WoW to kind of just get the feel for Twitch, and then I transitioned into illustration and then into mini painting. So I just got on it to hang out with friends because most of the time at night I was playing WoW with old guildmates, and we were just BSing on Discord, and it's really nothing different with Twitch. And that's kind of what I like carried over and enjoy about my channel is humor is a big thing for me, and it's also my comfort zone. I get really nervous in spotlight, and like I have stage fright. So if I can make jokes about it and I feel more like everyone's like your friends and you're just hanging out with people, then that's like my comfort zone. So I try to have like a really fun environment.
I think you succeed in that, and hopefully this isn't terrifying for you whenever I bring the spotlight
no,
on you.
I know you guys, so it's better.
As an aside, I did with my old landlord trade him for a month's rent a level 65 Shadow Priest that was all decked out at the time. I don't know if that would be Burning Crusade or whatever, but yeah, I didn't pay rent that month. I just gave him a troll. It was awesome, and I mean I missed him a little bit, but so with the miniature painting stuff. So I see this happens to Adam more, but I see sometimes people are like asking you like rules questions or like what's your favorite lore aspect of it. And I think that's nice not to be a competitive thing, but like is it almost you think it's like you draw a specific type of people who also aren't into that competitive type of mindset? Like, are hobby enthusiasts your draw, you think, basically?
I mean, yeah, I would say that's probably the case. I definitely like. I have so far done 3 battle reports, 3.5 technically. There was you and I did another battle report that never actually has seen the light of day.
There was a lot of rye whiskey drank during that battle report.
Well, there was that, and also the audio problems. But yes, but yeah. So I don't like. I'm not really a competitive play channel. People will ask. I think partially just because they're like looking at the Warhammer section of Twitch, and then they are like, oh, well, there's this, video or this channel on Twitch right now, and they've got 100 to maybe 200 viewers. So let's go check them out. And then they'll see me painting, and then they just kind of, I think, assume that like, oh, well, you also must play competitively and all that kind of stuff, or at least be able to speak about it. And on certain things, I can speak a little bit, but I am not the guy to ask about strategy. I stink at it real bad. So I generally try to let people know that if I'm like, hey, this is, they're like, hey, well, what should I do with my Necron Overlord? This, that. I'm like, I know what they look like. I can paint you one potentially.
I do not like that answer. I have noticed.
Yeah, I know.
That. Yeah, there's sometimes you get a little. Sorry, this guy's been so good all day, and now this is what happens.
But yeah, it's just one of those situations where I kind of explained like I'm more this what you're seeing here and less. I do like to play, don't get me wrong. I just don't like to play competitively. I like to play for fun. And so because of that, I'm kind of terrible at the stats and the strats and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, me too. I care about playing the game more than winning the game almost every single time because I won't be disappointed at that point. So, so the Zambies with that, like, have you had any, like, I'm going to talk about the parasocial aspect of YouTube and Twitch and stuff like that. But have you had any like weird interactions with people like he sometimes gets to where they're like, well, if you're not playing it, what's the point? You ever hear that?
Not as much. I have had that more in the beginning, but I feel like most of the people in my community kind of understand that I paint for fun, and though I do plan on playing one day, I am eventually building my Nighthaunt army. I would prefer Age of Sigmar over 40k just because, I don't know, the models to me are more beautiful. No offense to anyone, but in the fantasy side is just more appealing, where I feel like 40k, there's just so much that it seems too overwhelming to dive right in right away. And I've had it when I painted a Marine once, that some people come in and they were just like, what chapter are you doing and all this stuff? And I'm like, this is just a custom guy I'm painting in my logo colors for fun. Purple and green. Yeah. Like this. And so I have people that like ask questions, and I'm totally open to being like educated. And I say that in like nice terms, as in like, you want to teach me about the lore and everything, that's cool, but I'm also going to be like, I'm not going to pronounce this guy's name right. I'm not going to remember any of the stats, So a lot of the people who watch me also plays, and they'll discuss it in chat, and I'll just be like, this is cool, but I don't understand any of it.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any kind of like litmus test to hobby.
Yeah.
And breaking, because I mean, they're like, all of the games you talked about have like Wikipedia pages that'll just like feed into each other forever. So it's like being the expert is no fun in that stuff regards. I read about Skaven because I like little rat boys. Like they're my buddies. Like I buy Skaven books. I don't paint any Skaven. I just want to like hang out with my friends, the Skaven. Speaking of which, like, so in COVID these days, I think there's a huge parasocial aspect to Twitch and YouTube that has been feeding in. Like doing these kind of videos, it's like hanging out with my friends. I don't get to hang out with my friends that much. Sometimes, one person can hang out on the other side of the pallet in my backyard, and we can shout at each other and throw each other drinks. But have you noticed since COVID started, like a more in like uptick in like engagement, or even like people kind of treating you as if they already know you at that whole parasocial thing? And is that a problem? Is that okay?
I mean, I just like I started during COVID, so I don't have Zambies would have a better gauge of potentially pre and post. But like I've noticed honestly that like YouTube viewership and things like that just keeps kind of following its same ups and downs. Like channels have good times and bad times, and it depends on sometimes the videos, depends on the subject. And so I haven't noticed a difference there, but I don't know that people are watching more YouTube due to COVID because people are already doing a lot of that. I think the Twitch thing might be a different story because a lot of people, especially if you're painting during the day, people will turn it on while they're working from home. And so I think that may be a big deal. But I think that honestly, Zambies would probably know a little bit more about that because she's been doing it longer.
Yeah, there was so when COVID hit for a while there was an influx that happened on Twitch. And Twitch, I believe, wasn't prepared for it because there was a lot of like wonky stuff happening on their end. But there was a lot more viewers. But not only that, there were tons of people who were starting to stream. And that's good. Like, it's good to have more people out there, especially in the hobby. People were starting the hobby, and then a lot of people were just asking questions about how do I get started and all of that. So there was a lot more engagement on different ends in chat. But we have noticed lately a lot of streamers that Twitch is starting to mellow out because people are starting to get kind of back to their normal lives a little bit, or they're kind of over that. Because you get certain periods of time where a lot of people are like, I want to stream, but they don't last like 3 to 6 months. They don't realize that it is a lot of work. Like, you can turn on and just want to stream and have fun, but a lot of people get discouraged because in order to make it on Twitch to a level that a lot of people want to get to, you have to keep with it, and there's a lot of work that goes with it. So they get discouraged and they leave, and usually if they stop streaming, they also leave the platform altogether as viewers. So it's starting to balance out and kind of just go back to normal.
So
but
there's a die-off.
There was, yeah, as they like die off. So there are some people that stay and are viewers, but we, like, during COVID, there was a bit more of people watching while they work at home and stuff like that, but not like huge.
So, Zambies, if somebody was looking to get into it, because, I mean, I'm trying to do these videos, is like, we're talking about your platform, it's also, like, a little informative if people are interested in doing what you're doing. What's your biggest recommendation? Is it keeping a routine and a schedule, or communicating if you're going to have a sick day? Like, what? Because I know with a YouTube channel, you could probably have a couple evergreen videos in the can, and then you get the flu, pop that up. For a Twitch, you get the flu, you're going to miss a few days. So, like, is that, like, one of your big things? Like, what's the biggest piece of advice for someone that's starting a new channel that thinks, I could persevere?
A lot of people think that you need to start a channel and you need to have all this equipment right off the bat, and your stream needs to be crazy, but it doesn't really need to be that way. A lot of times I find that audio is actually better than video. So if you sound really good, a lot of people listen while they work, and they'll let slide the fact that you're a little blurry or, stuff like that. But it's really more about just your type of environment and your personality and keeping with it. Consistency is key. We all get sick or we get burnt out and we miss a stream. That's fine. But if you have like a schedule, even if it changes every once in a while, if they know you're going to be here and they keep coming back and they keep seeing you, then you're going to form regulars. If you're like, I'm going to stream randomly at this hour and randomly at that hour, and then people aren't going to know. Another thing is social media is really big too, because there are a lot of people that I've gotten who have found me through Instagram or Twitter, and not so much Facebook. I don't really like Facebook, but that's personal preference.
That's a head nod from all of us on Facebook.
Yeah.
Right there is, yeah.
So, but they find you elsewhere and they come to watch you. So it is, like I said, it's a lot more work than a lot of people realize. Is you have to kind of spread yourself out there, but don't be annoying and be like, come watch me now, but more like
don't adopt
you
a new
develop
voice.
Friends.
Yeah.
You put yourself out there in a good way, and people will come.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good advice. At the end there, it just sounds like if you're not genuinely broadcasting who you are, it's gonna burn you out also insanely as well. So,
yeah.
And like, it's going back to the parasocial thing, like walking around like Gen Con with Adam. We basically, it's exhausting, but we'll do like a 4-hour circuit of the vendor hall, have everyone shake his hands before COVID happened, and then we probably need a cocktail after that. But like so does that, like for you, Adam, like a little bit of a celebrity aspect like that, does that get a little wearing thin sometimes, or do you wish you could turn it off?
Well, I mean, the thing is that it only happens in certain places generally. Like, I have honestly been recognized in like, I got recognized once at like Staples or Office Max. It had nothing to do with gaming, and I got recognized someplace else, some other like regular store once, where I just was walking around there like. But otherwise, if it's at a convention, I kind of expect that's going to happen a little bit. I mean, it's lovely when it does, and that's great. But it's not like if it happened all the time, like when I went to the grocery store or whatever, that would sort of be a bummer. And I see why like Hollywood folks have an issue with that and everything, and it's difficult. I get that. But for me, like I enjoy it. It's very nice. I'm glad that people want to take the time to stop and say hi and say that they enjoy the work and things like that. So I like that. And a little bit, I mean, obviously, well, probably a good portion of the audience that I'm seeing from Twitch is also because I've already spent 7.5 years building an audience on other platforms, including mostly YouTube. And like if I was starting from just the word go and I'm just like, hey folks, I'm going to start painting, and nobody knew anything about me, it's harder to build, certainly. So when people I think look at like, well, I've been painting on Twitch for like, this long, and I'm really not, advertising myself, and I'm really not doing much other than just trying to be on Twitch. And boy, gosh, people aren't paying attention. You're like, well, yeah, you have to be able to kind of build it from multiple angles. And if you can already have an audience, maybe you've been on Instagram for 2 years and you're growing on Instagram, showing off all your cool models. If you then started telling your Instagram folks, hey, I'm going to start doing some Twitch, or hey, I'm going to start doing YouTube. I mean, our friend Sam, Sam Lenz, he was on my channel from time to time and things like that. And then during that time, he also started moving into Twitch and everything. And now he's doing YouTube. He's got his own YouTube channel, and he's growing quite quickly. And so that's very cool. Yeah.
He did a video for us. So thanks again, Sam. That was a fun one. We got a little weird with that one. So watch that one.
So weird? No.
Yeah.
So the main concept is to not try to focus on any specific platform, but to look at them. And you don't have to use every platform either. I'm not really particularly on TikTok, so I'm not going down that direction.
Yeah, we're making fun of TikTok and Facebook today. Is basically what you're saying.
Sure. Yeah.
We're not too old and we're not too young. We like middle-aged platforms.
Right. Exactly.
Only.
The stuff that the boomers use and the stuff that the kids use, we don't want. It's just the middle.
Yeah. So what you're saying there is you've got to start somewhere. You've got to be patient with it. And you can't expect overnight results on anything.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, it took me 2.5 years on Instagram, it took me 2.5 years on YouTube to get 10,000 subscribers. Mm-hmm. And then after that, right around that time, once I hit 10,000 subscribers, I'm like, I'm going to start trying to do this every single Friday. And at the end of this month, that will be 5 years ago, where I've put out a video every single Friday. I haven't missed one. So if I can make it till the end of October of not missing a Friday video, then that'll be 5 years. And that kind of consistency on YouTube is kind of key, because YouTube, the algorithm, actually looks at that, and that helps you. With something like Twitch, the algorithm doesn't really pay attention to that, but the people who are viewing you and expect you to be Thursday at 6 o'clock or whatever, if you're not there at Thursday 6 o'clock, that can be an issue. But it's every platform's got its kind of differences.
So you heard it here first. Adam's 5-year Star Trek voyage ends next week or whenever, and he's retiring after that, right? Is that what you're saying?
No, I just want to make sure that I can make it 5 years, so I can get the little pin that says 5 years, not missing a Friday, and that there's not a pin. I might make myself a pin. It happens.
I mean, it is pretty great. I mean, and in those first 2.5 years, I know you've spoken about this elsewhere. You weren't getting that same momentum until you really got regular.
Right, and it's partially two things. Like I said, it's partially the algorithm with YouTube, which is a benefit, but it's also me telling everybody this is going to happen every Friday. So it's always going to be at the same time every single Friday, having a schedule like that. And I'm not saying with, let's say, Twitch, for an example, you can be outside the schedule. You can do your schedule, but then also do an extra one once in a while. Like once in a while I play a video game, and I did a little bit of that on Twitch.
Cat Police.
But for the most, Cat Police. But for the most part, it's generally following the schedule that I think is kind of important.
Yeah, it makes
like
sense.
For something like Twitter or for like Instagram, it's probably not quite as important, because those two platforms especially have a tendency to screw up, like when stuff shows. Like you'll see an Instagram post, but it was 3 days ago, and that kind of stuff. So in that situation, I think it's a little bit more frequency. Like it's more, okay. If you do it on the daily, let's say on Instagram, then I think you'll probably grow faster than if you only post once every 2 months. That kind of makes sense.
Daily Instagram post sounds exhausting, but no one
it does.
Yeah, no one wants
but
to
if you want to grow,
my cats or my food that much, so I don't think
sure.
I would grow anything. It would just be like I would lose people. So Zambies, you've been doing a lot of online submissions for different painting competitions. I've noticed this year. Is that like a COVID pivot thing for you, or is it like are you enjoying that whole process of, because that seems like very photography oriented? It's kind of, if you could just walk me through like how that's been going for you, like that would be cool. Like,
I haven't really so for ReaperCon, since it was online, they usually have a painting competition at the convention, but this year they decided not really to have a competition. There weren't really winners. It was more like a showcase, and then all the employees picked the ones they liked. And then the ones that got the most likes, they were showcased. And then they didn't really announce until later that you were going to win gift cards. So no one really knew that you were really going to be winning anything.
Interesting.
So that was pretty cool. Yeah. So I submitted a bunch of work because there weren't any rules. Like, it didn't have to be Reaper models. It could have been painted whenever. And I had 4 of my pieces selected, so that was kind of cool. I'm working on a ritual casting piece right now. The main reason I'm doing this one is because it's for direct relief, so it's for a charity that the competition, all the proceeds are going for. And if you win, you can win a 3D printer, and I really want a 3D printer. So that's why I'm doing it. And then I also have a little astronaut dude that I want to do for the, I'm going to say his last name wrong because I say everyone's name, but is it Roman Lapat? Is it actually?
Sam was talking about.
Okay.
So it's the little astronaut guy, and you just put him you take pictures of him exploring our planet?
You can do whatever you want with him. This dude is really, really tiny. He is, I don't know if you can even see him. He's on my desk. I had a plan for him, and it kind of fell apart, but he is this big.
Okay. He's very small.
And, yeah. So I have been back and forth with my idea for that. A lot of people kept telling me that I should go submit things for competitions and do, local game store stuff, but I haven't gone to any local game stores because I live in Florida, and I'm avoiding people because there's a plague. Yeah,
we got Florida and Wisconsin on this call, so I'm glad we're teleconference.
Yeah. Wait, this is bad. Yeah, so I'm hoping that when that's over, I can actually, I don't know, get my feet wet with something like that.
I mean, you're going to do actual convention stuff next year, you think, if there is please let there be a vaccine?
Yes, I'm hoping for that. I really, really want to go to Adepticon. The sad part is I used to live by where it was, and I didn't know anything about it until after I moved. So, and I feel really bad that I never got the chance to experience that. So I really would love to go to Adepticon and some other conventions. So that would be fun.
It's pretty amazing how that happens. Matt, one of the founders of Adepticon, had a coworker he was telling about that was really into 40K, and he's like, yeah, you should check out Adepticon. He'd even say I run it, and the guy's like, what's that? And this guy had been just playing every weekend for 15 years, and just local guy, never heard of it. It happens. So don't beat yourself up about that, but it is delightful. and I hope March and April we all get a group hug because of that vaccine. But yeah, what's on your table right now, guys? And then I think we'll kind of give out your shouts to your socials, and I think this was a very informative chat. What do you got, Adam? What's on your table right now?
Oh, well, let's see. I'm currently working on some models. They're resin models from a company overseas, over in the UK, called Monkstone Miniatures. And they're kind of a weird interpretation of the Three Little Pigs and some other denizens of that kind of world to some degree. And they're just really, really interesting sculpts. Guy reached out to me. What's that?
The snail guy is my favorite.
Snail guy is spectacular. Yeah, no, his name is Glom, and it's just he's really. When I saw the sculpts, I was like, wow, So I decided. So he sent me 3 of those, and I've been painting them a little bit on Twitch. I'm going to be painting them again probably Monday night. So, well, I don't know when this is coming out, but I'll be painting them probably one more stream, and then after that, I'm moving into Night Haunts actually, but not for Age of Sigmar, but for Warcry, which is based off of Age of Sigmar, but it's like a small skirmish version. So yeah, that's my next probably thing that I'll be streaming will be those Night Haunts, and then I'm working on little bits and pieces here on the side. But generally, a lot of the stuff I've been doing lately. Actually, I've been trying to plan for. I want to paint this on stream, and I want to paint that on stream. But I also like to have stuff separate because if I'm painting something for stream, I don't want to paint in between streams and then have people go, well, what did you do here, here, and here? Because they didn't get to catch up with it. So that's why I like to have projects that are off stream that I can show people and go, hey, this is where I am with this. And then I also want stuff that I paint on stream.
So you got your Instagram boys and you got your Twitch boys, is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, to some degree. In some certain situations, yeah.
All right, Zambies, what is on your table right now?
I'm still working on this, the ritual casting piece. It's a big, it's almost like a mini diorama for it. And then I gotta do orc for October. So I have an orc bust. I have a half painted KDM model. I've got way too many little tiny pieces on my desk that I need to finish up. But
Adam does not buy into October. I can tell you that already. I think you're...
No.
Maybe next year. I have some orcs that I'm going to build for Kill Team eventually, but I just haven't gone down that road.
I mean, that bust looks like it's more of like a For the Horde orc than a...
yeah, it is. It's a World of Warcraft 3D print.
Cool.
Yeah, well, I mainly wanted to do this because my first mini ever was an orc, because orcs are classic. You have to go with orcs, and I think I started painting that October 22nd, so I was hoping to get this guy done so I could do a comparison of like my first mini ever versus where I am right now.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I like that. Kind of like the progress. And then you just have to line up all of the minis in a row, though. That's how that works. Just like, and then just knock them down like dominoes. And then that's your video. So... yeah, I think this has been an informative chat, especially for someone. I mean, it's informative for me trying to, from nowhere, make this channel and give us a virtual stuff. So I appreciate your guys' time. Adam, give me your socials. Tell us how we can find out about Tabletop Minions.
I'm on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. I think that's it. Just Tabletop Minions, all one word. If you put it in after any of those things, you'll probably find it.
Yeah, and you sell T-shirts. You buy an Adam Smasher T-shirt. Give my uncle some money. So, Zambies, where can we find you?
I'm Zambies on Twitch and a few other places, but the problem is Zambies was taken on a lot of the socials, so I am Zambies Decays on Instagram and Twitter, and I hate that, but it's how it's got to be for now. Eventually, maybe I'll change it.
You can always sue the other person, right? Just try. Just
I got an email saying like, "Hey, we have your domain name. Would you like to buy it?" No, you're going to charge me an arm and a leg. No, thank you.
All right, and so everybody here, thank you for your time. And I appreciate your time for like the Dragon-Fall Foundation. We're gonna try to raise some money this year. Hopefully, it's a very strange transition year. So hopefully floating heads giving you information is what you're looking for. Adam, Zambies, Josh, I love you guys. Keep killing it, and I will talk to you soon.